Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, at whatever time you're watching and tuning in today. Join us, thank you for joining us at Let's Talk Business with Laura Nowlin and Dr. Cobian. Dr. Cobian, how are you doing today?
I'm blessed, I'm happy and excited about learning today with our guest.
Definitely. So today we have Juan Salas with us. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a tax professional with us. He's with Tax Team Central. And so we're going to be asking some deep-heated questions about taxes, and I'm sure you'll be able to answer them since you've been doing this for how long?
Probably more than I wanna confirm, but let's keep it at 18 years.
Right.
18 years at least. I've been doing this for a long time. I started as a trainee with my mentor at the time, and then decided, hey, I like it, and we definitely need help on this area, and so here I am. Glad to be here.
So 18 years in the tax industry. How long have you owned your own firm?
About this is gonna be my 4th year. I
Okay,
think so.
great.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
And what side of town are you located right now in Las Vegas?
Our practice is a little bit different because we are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We have pushed the virtual service a lot. We have a local office on Lake Mead and Buffalo area,
Okay.
but we try to keep everything virtual. So we understand the small business owners are busy.
Right.
They don't want to be sitting while do their numbers.
Mhm.
So what we do, we have very secure client portal to upload information. Then we come back with your documents and we can review it with Zoom or Google Meet over the phone. And if you agree with everything, you don't have any changes, we proceed with your signature and file the taxes.
Right. So then you're not just doing taxes, you're also doing what other services?
We have a bookkeeping service.
Okay.
We have some colleagues that help us with payroll as well.
Okay.
In the tax practice, you get to know a lot of good small business services.
Mhm.
So we try to promote those services as well from our clients. So yeah, we might know somebody that knows somebody,
Right.
So it is fun, and but we focus more on personal and small business taxes.
Great. So what to you is a small business? Because, it all depends on who's defining it. We define it as less than 10 employees. Those are the people that we're trying to help
Yes.
right now. But I know with the SBA, it's like 200 and some, or I don't know how many employees.
Right now with technology,
Yeah.
I mean, you have some Uber drivers nowadays. That's a small business.
Yeah.
I mean, in the eyes of the IRS, it's basically 2 blocks. You are an employee or you are an independent contractor.
Okay.
So as an independent contractor, you have to follow the IRS rules for small businesses. You start paying taxes as a small business. You have to file as a small business. So the gig economy has, I think, multiplied the number of small businesses.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I mean, there's people that have full-time jobs and they start doing their small business activity. I might start as a hobby and then, hey, I'm good at this, I'm gonna make an extra money. And then they are full-time employees, but they also have their small businesses that needs the same compliance as a regular business.
Yeah, you're also an enrolled agent, so I think that's very
Yes.
important to share with our audience, because if you could tell us maybe the difference between an enrolled agent to a CPA.
So they are both good practices on the tax industry,
Okay.
but they follow different paths.
Okay.
So enrolled agents, we have to pass certain certifications, actually 3 exams with the IRS about personal taxes, business taxes, and ethics. We get, the approval of the IRS. We know what we do, basically, and we can practice worldwide. So I have
Nice.
clients in South America, Central America, Florida, Texas, all over the state. So that help us cover a lot of issues. For example, international taxes. We have a lot of people coming in to invest in the U.S., rental properties, and things like that. And there are some collaboration between small businesses here and other small businesses outside the U.S. So yes, we can emphasize on the whole tax aspect worldwide. I think that's one of the major differences. But definitely you have to interview somebody that you want to work with for your taxes. For example, there are some things in taxes that I don't touch.
Okay.
I know a little bit, but I know enough to refer to somebody that is more professional. So
Gotcha.
if we're having a complicated trust or we're having a conglomerate international business, I know people that can help me out and we can work together. But small businesses, I don't think there's a simple return anymore.
Okay.
We got your crypto, we got your small business, your gig economy. It's changing a lot, and it's fun. It's fun to learn more about small business.
I have a few scenarios.
Yes.
First one, those small business owners who never hire anybody, but they are about to jump to that part, and they don't know anything about payroll, but they are hiring only one person because they want to start. That's how it is. Will they be good candidates for you?
Yes, and
And how can you help them?
we start with education because
nice.
it is very hard to communicate if we're not at the same level. And I'm not saying that I'm gonna teach you how to do your taxes, but I know at least some terminology.
Yes.
I have to do this because of this.
All right.
I have to do payroll. I'm gonna throw some lingo there. 941s, 940s, W2s,
Yeah.
because you have an employee and you have compliance requirements. So we begin with trying to level up, and then we can communicate, and actually it's better for me. So if we speak tax lingo, and it is easier for me and easier for the client. So we start with a little bit of education depending on the things. There's a lot of TikTok and there's a lot of things going on out there. Deduct your card, deduct this, deduct
Right.
that. So we want to take care of the myths out there first, and then we start building that client.
Now, the second will be, there are some business owners that they are very disciplined in keeping their records. I spend this on this, and this is the money that came and came from this. That's good, I think, because whenever they call you or visit you, there is already a record that shows where the money is going and
Exactly.
coming up. Okay. But when is the time for them to leave that task in your hands?
So
Great question.
great
Doctor.
question. And I think that taxes begin, I would say, when you do your first sale.
Okay.
I think that's a good point to start thinking about taxes. Okay, you made a sale, you have to figure out how much taxes. You have to divide the cake. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
This is gonna be for my business, and this is gonna be for the government, and it might be the sales taxes, it might be income taxes, all those taxes. So I think we have to understand that taxes is the end result of a process,
Okay.
and that process is bookkeeping. So that would be a perfect client for me that has everything organized, because okay, now we can move to the final stage, that is preparing the taxes.
Yes.
But if I don't see that type of client, it doesn't have those abilities or is aware of that need, we have to go back and do bookkeeping and then move on into the taxes. So hopefully I answered your question.
Yes, you
I
did.
don't know.
Now, we have two scenarios here. This person has all the records of where the money is going and where the money is coming from. Everything is documented. And this one too. The only difference between this one and this one is that the first one is using the business account, and the other one is using business and personal account. Can
Yes.
you explain how that makes a big difference in the work that you have to do before taxes?
It will make a huge difference if I have to do the bookkeeping, because bookkeeping is basically you have to bring all transactions from every single place. Your personal credit card, the loan from your family member, the bank was closed, I don't have my ATM card, I'm gonna deposit this sale on my personal account, and then tomorrow I'm gonna move it to there. Or you have cash on your hands and doesn't make it to the bank because you have to pay somebody on the way to the
Yeah.
bank. It happens. It really happens. So we understand that. So part of the education is you have to get organized. And if it happened, if life happens and you were not organized, okay, we're gonna work with that. We're gonna take the time. We're not gonna do the taxes because we're not ready. So we're gonna go back and do the bookkeeping, find out all the deductions, because in an average, a deduction can save you, let's say, what, 25%?
Oh, wow.
So if you're missing $100, it's like $25 that you're paying extra. So I plant that seed on the mind of the client. So because if they realize how much it is, they can see the benefit, the opportunity cost. We say in business sometimes, okay, if I'm not doing this, it can cost me this. So I don't want to say I try to manipulate the client, but I'm trying to make them think about the cost
And the
of doing it.
advantages.
The advantages, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I think that helped us develop the business management mentality of keeping up with the bookkeeping.
Yeah, can you collaborate a little bit more on the personal then? Like Dr. Copian says, what is the big difference? What I hear you saying is that we have to still account for that. So that means normally when someone's doing your books, they have also access to your accounts to be able to bring everything in, right?
Yeah.
And it's a little bit difficult when it's coming from your personal, because now you're having to tie that in.
Yes, it has happened. We usually use a lot of technology. For example, we go back and example, it says, you know what, the transactions are here on my personal account and some are on the business account. Okay, so we go and help them download everything in an electronic format, and they start categorizing by themselves. And because it takes a lot of work,
Yes.
and they can do it themselves. It's gonna be a good practice for them to understand the whole process, and it's gonna save them money if they do it. I'm not do that. The experience of categorizing your expenses as a small business, I think it's a great benefit early on, so you understand what's going on the whole process. And sometimes I find out, I see the transactions and dude, you gotta cut off on some, McDonald's, or because we have a lot of information. We have access to a lot of information.
Dr. Copian, did you have another question? We have a few minutes before we go to commercial.
Yes, okay. So we have a business owner who wants to hire you because wants to do everything right. And this business owner is like, I'm gonna put like if I am the one,
Yes.
okay? And I said, okay, Mr. Salas, I just opened my business and I want to do everything straight and correctly. I want to work with you. Will you recommend me a software so that I can keep everything organized and send it to you so that I can make your work easier and you can get the best benefits for me? Will you coach this person? Because you mentioned education in the
Yes.
beginning, and that's why I'm asking this.
Yes.
Because I want the audience to feel secure to call you and know that you will know which software to recommend and which way for every business. That's the reason why I'm asking.
Yeah,
this
I think
question.
it depends a lot on the type of business, but we will probably begin with an interview. How good are you with computer? I mean, this is gonna be the skills that are required for you to accomplish the bookkeeping. Do you want to do it? Do you want to learn? Or you want to subcontract that service? So, for example, we might say, okay, you know what, QuickBooks is better fit for your line of business. Or if you are very tight on a budget, maybe a free software like Wave or Xero. So we probably help you on the setup, so you have the right setup and start entering information in the right places. And if you don't need the assistance of a monthly bookkeeper, hey, we might come back and see you in a month, 2 months, or 3 months when you have to do your estimated tax payments. So it really fits. It depends on the customer. It really depends on the customer. We can take 100% of the load. I mean, if you want, we have the right people, we have the technology, everything. We can take everything out. But there's a lot of benefit of knowing what's going on with the bookkeeping as a management.
Really quick.
Yes.
Okay, before we go to
Really
commercial.
quick. Now, I am that business owner, old school, who can let go of the control. and I'm going to tell you, Mr. Salas, I'd rather have my notes and everything in writing and give it to you by the end of the year. Is that going to cost
Yes.
me more?
No, it's not gonna cost you more. But I have a client. He has a mobile car wash, and you remember the green accounting books, the pages that are this big.
Yeah, I remember.
He does that. So he has every page for a
Yeah, I
month,
remember because I
and
studied
then
that.
and then he flips it over, and there's a total. It's perfect. It's even sometimes more cleaner than a QuickBooks file
'Cause
that
everything
somebody's
is
trying
there.
to figure it out. So yes, I will take that as a summary. We scan the document, and we prepare the taxes based on that.
Well, we're going to go ahead and go to commercial. I've been taking a lot of notes. I hope you're taking notes as well. And then when we come back for commercial, I want you to tell us about maybe those clients that come in with a shoebox full of receipts. What do you do then? But we'll be right back.
Hello, this is Dr. Kovian. I am a naturopath or a doctor in natural medicine, a holistic practitioner, and I specialize in uncovering the root causes of your symptoms of health problems. How do I do that? Well, I use the electromagnetic resonance technology, same thing that CAT scan and MRI uses in the hospital. And once I know what's the root cause, through natural solutions such as teas, soups, smoothies, I'll give you the recipes for you to empower your own body's healing mechanisms so that you will heal or prevent any future health problems. You can reach me out here in Las Vegas. My number is 702-365-8000, or you can look for Balance, Salud y Vida. I have a website, I have social media, but 702-365-8000 is the best way to reach out to me. I will help you better your health, prevent any illness, increase your energy levels, reduce inflammation, pain. You will feel amazing. It will be a pleasure to serve you.
Introducing See Us Now Staffing, led by yours truly, Laura Nowlin. As the founder and president, I bring over 17 years of expertise in sourcing for talent, building winning teams of professionals, marketing, and workforce development. At See Us Now Staffing, we're not just a staffing agency. We're your strategic partner in building a winning team of professionals for your business. My passion for community service extends to connecting entrepreneurs with local resources. Recognized by the Small Business Administration as the 2022 Nevada Family-Owned Business of the Year, we're not just changing the workforce landscape, we're defining it. So welcome back to Let's Talk Business with Laura Nowlin and Dr. Govian, and we have here Juan Salas with us talking to us about taxes. And so my last question before we went to commercial was, what do you do with that client that comes in with a shoebox full of receipts? Does that still actually happen?
I close my eyes and I breathe deeply. Yes, trying to go to my happy place. But no, it happens, and hopefully it is not too much time into the business, or we're not against the clock on filing the taxes and things like that, because we have to make a decision. We're gonna need some time to organize, and if you didn't do the work before, we're gonna have to do the work now. We might have to file an extension, for example, and then figure it out, because the risk of doing the bookkeeping wrong is gonna be reflected on the taxes. The taxes are going to be wrong, so we cannot sign a wrong return. Better ask for more time. So we might receipts are very important.
Yes.
Because if you get audited, they're going to ask for those receipts. I understand in the bank financial statement in the bank says a lot of the transactions, but let's give you an example. I work for you, right? And I come back and you say me, hey, here's $100. Take care. You're gonna go and visit with a client, and then come back with whatever results and changes. So I come back with basically a summary saying, hey, I spent $80 in Walmart buying supplies. Do you want to know what I bought in Walmart actually?
Yes.
Or do you gonna just trust me of
No, I want to see.
No.
Exactly.
Because you probably bought shoes, or you probably bought a
Exactly.
shirt. It had nothing to do with
Yeah, I probably bought a bottle of wine or maybe something, something
that's
that
the
is not
reason.
related to the business.
Right.
You wanna reimburse me for actual business expenses.
That's the reason why IRS wants to see the
Exactly,
receipt.
because in Amazon, in Walmart, everywhere.
That's
I mean, in
amazing.
Office Depot, you can buy a personal computer, you can buy a chair for your living room, anything. So that's the whole point of keeping up the good records.
Right. And what's a good way? What advice could you give the small business owner as they're using their credit card, taking someone out to eat? What should they do?
Use
What is the process?
technology. Use technology.
Yeah.
It's a process. Yeah, I mean, we have the technology. We can scan the receipts with the software out there.
Right.
And or you have if you have little ones, 14, 16-year-old, they can help you out, and maybe it's an extra expense for your business. You can employ your family members that way.
Right.
So, hey, sort out all the receipts, start taking pictures, and send an email to yourself. For example, these are the receipts for the week of March.
Yes.
So, picture, and those receipts will never get erased because
What-
they are on your email.
What are the possibilities of a business to be audited by the IRS? Because there is a lot of ideas out there. Maybe I'm a
They're
small
out to get us.
business.
Yeah.
They're out to
I
get
mean,
us.
some people will say I'm a very small business and I don't make a lot of money, so I don't think I will ever be outed. But what if? I mean, I don't know. That's why
There's
I'm
a
asking.
lot of under-reporting of income. There's a lot of bad returns out there. So the IRS has the job of trying to find those people. And
Right.
sometimes in the process, they might ask people that are doing everything correctly, and it happens. So if you are following the rules, if you're keeping up with your business, it's gonna be okay. You just show the receipts, and that's gonna be fine. There's no way. I don't think anybody, CPA, enrolled agent, anybody can guarantee you that you will never get audited,
No.
because it can happen at random.
Okay,
There are random audits, so they just send a letter and let's see
It's your turn.
how we are doing, right? So the best way is have everything ready, follow the procedures, and you just sleep better.
But if I am a business that is listening to this show and I have records, perfect records of everything, but I never kept one receipt and I get an order of an audit.
If you didn't get it,
What
it's
is the
also-
worst case scenario there?
Okay, they might take out the expense, but probably not, because they have also, there's some logic behind it. I mean, there's no way you can run a business without expenses.
Right.
So there are some, just logic makes sense. Okay, maybe you have $2,000 in office expenses. You have receipts for $1,850. You know what? The auditors are also
So
have
the
common
logic
sense.
is a good point.
Yes,
here.
yes, but if you don't have any receipts, if you have a lot of travel expenses, when your business is just run locally, that doesn't
Makes a difference.
make sense. at
Now,
all.
if let's say that because I'm a small business, and let's say that I need the services of that person. Okay, that person, I don't know if that person has a city, a city license. I don't know, but it's just something that is going to be $300. So I hire this person, I pay this person, and I just make a note that I pay for technical support.
Yes.
Anything. But it happens that in 2-3 weeks, I get a bigger problem and I know that person fixed it. So I call that person again, but this time I'm going to pay $900. Do I have to ask for something to justify, or I can just keep doing it like that?
There's a compliance requirement that you have to issue 1099s to some
Exactly.
subcontractors.
That's why
There
I'm
are
asking.
some rules, and it is basically to close the loop. If you spend the money, you are not getting taxed on that money. Somebody else is getting taxed. So there are exemptions. For example, if somebody charges you through a credit card, the credit card processing is going to report that income to the IRS already. So there are some exemptions as well regarding that 1099 requirement. For example, for S corporations and for C corporations as well. So you have to understand that what are your requirements as a small business, and the rule of thumb is get their information before you make the check, because after you pay them, it's harder to get their social IT or W9 information. Definitely, it's and it happens,
Yes.
right?
A lot.
So if it happens, it's because you don't have a procedure in place to hire vendors, to keep
Yes.
track of that vendor and receipts. And also we use Zelle a lot nowadays.
Yes, even
Technology.
business.
Yeah.
There's
We
there's
take
a-
Zelle payments, and it's easier because you write it on their phone and you can write down the motive, the explanation, and use that. as
But
well.
even if I pay this, and I'm gonna keep with the same,
Sure.
example, even if I pay this person 2 times on sale, I still don't have the information of the company if I don't get the form you just mentioned, right?
But why you didn't ask them is the question. You know now.
Right,
So
that we should be asking.
yeah, definitely. It's like, okay, we're gonna do business. Okay, give me your proposal. Okay, and by the way, here's a W9. Sign it and date it.
W9.
No, oh, I'm gonna get it later. Blah blah blah. I'll get your payment later as well. So you
That's,
have
that's
to,
a good tactic.
or sometimes I tell people, blame your tax guy.
Right,
My tax guy told
wants
me,
it.
yeah,
He needs it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it
He's not
does
gonna
work.
make. Yeah, let me do the check before I get this. Blah 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 blah. Okay,
Yeah.
you can blame me, no problem.
Yeah, the most important question that I wanted to ask today, Mr. Salas, is this. So, I have a business owner who does not sell any products.
Okay.
It sells services. It comes the end of the year. How are the taxes of this person as a business owner going to be different from anybody who doesn't have business?
It's gonna be very similar to everybody because it's income. It is earned income, whatever you provided, a product or a service. So you have to report all your income, whatever is cash, checks, sale, payments, everything, your necessary and ordinary expenses to come up with your taxable gain. So whatever you, sometimes I make a joke. There are like 3 times you make money. It's you are an employee, you are independent contractor, or in Spanish we say mantenido. It's like somebody that supports you.
Right,
You're working
right.
for free. So you're making money under those categories. And probably if you are not an employee, you're an independent contractor. So you have to understand how to pay your taxes. And we see a lot of mistakes in that part. Taxes sometimes are not the problem. The problem is the price that you're charging for your services or your product. Because people do not count taxes as part of their cost of providing services. And it is a cost. It's like 20, I don't have to tell you,
Yeah.
So you have to, sometimes the small businesses come to us and they tell us, after income, after expenses, now I have to pay 25% of whatever I make. Yes, that's the rule.
Right.
But it's not gonna be anything left over for me. So the problem is not the taxes. The problem was the price at the beginning. So you are not charging enough to make a sustainable business. That's kind of the background problem.
How
Yeah.
interesting.
Last question before we actually end, and God, our time has just flown away. When does someone know that they have to do taxes? Is as a small business owner, is it just once they make that sale? Because let's say they have no sales for that year, do they still have to file a tax return?
Yes, probably if you have some expenses that you can push forward for
Okay.
future years, by losses that you can carry forward.
Okay.
Yes, let's do a tax return, and that will depend on the type of structure. We can. There's a lot of tax structures, but definitely, for example, partnerships, and they have to file, and you have to make sure that you are aware of all your income and expenses and how you can comply with and take advantage of the tax code.
Right,
Yeah,
definitely.
now the tax code has very nice rules that help you pay less taxes. So let's not only close your mind on your obligations, also there are opportunities to save taxes
To
and to
save
build
like
your
that.
wealth and things like that.
Yeah, you make me feel so comfortable now with taxes and tax return. Juan.
Yeah, it
Thank
is
you.
part of life. I mean, we're not gonna go in. If you're in the small business area, you know, you gotta make friends
With IRS.
with your own tax situation.
And not just that, when you're actually paying taxes,
Hmm.
that's a good thing because that means you're making
Exactly.
good money.
If you're not paying any taxes, you should be worried
Exactly. You should be
because
worried
you're
'cause
doing a
losing.
bad business.
Mm-hmm.
And it has happened that I told some clients, your tacos are great,
Mm-hmm.
but you are losing money a lot.
Wow.
So just close your business, and you want to still cooking, invite some friends over and
That's it.
and be happy.
And be happy with
Because
tacos, making tacos.
good tacos,
Yeah.
but bad business.
In closing, what remarks would you like to share with our audience, and then maybe a phone number, some way that they can get a hold of you would be fabulous.
Phone number 702-582-6702. Be aware that we are in tax season, so we work better with text right now.
Yeah, I
So
bet.
be patient and understand your tax situation. Look up your last year's taxes and see what has happened and what has changed, because taxes change a lot. I mean,
Right.
you get married, you get divorced, you have kids, then you don't have kids, and they go to college, they move somewhere else. So it really fluctuates every single year. So you have to understand a little bit so you can communicate better with your tax guy.
No, well, thank you so much for your
No,
time.
thank
We
you for
really
the
do
invitation.
appreciate. Yes, and so hopefully you'll catch us on our next show.